Hello once again to the YouTube comic book community. This is Carlos and I'm coming to you from Mexico City. Now, on my last video where I showed you my first few eBay pickups comics that I've been buying on eBay since September of last year, there was one that I didn't show you and I told you there was a story attached to it. Well, this is the comic I recently bought. In fact, it was one of the very first that I bought on eBay, probably the third one. It's Superman number 81 from September 1993. And this is actually an upgrade for this comic, the same one, that I bought back in 1993 when I was 14 years old. Now, it wasn't until 1999 that I became a regular comic book reader and collector. Before that, I wasn't really interested in comics. But, due to my dad's job back in 1987, the family had to move out. We went and lived in Florida for 3 years, in Miami, 3 years in Venezuela, and in 1993 we were brought back to Mexico. So for probably the entire summer we had to stay at a hotel while my mom found us a new house to live. We still had our old house, which was very, very small, and 6 years abroad, we got a whole bunch of new furniture and we just wouldn't fit in that little house. So, being in a hotel room for, three months, 2 or 3 months, well, for a 14-year-old, it's kind of boring after a while. You had TV. You could probably go to the hotel swimming pool. From time to time, we would go and visit our relatives. But, you always went back to that hotel. So usually we would just go, my younger brothers and I would just go to the hotel gift shop, and get chips and soda just to pass the time. And one day I went down and I saw this comic, a Flash comic, which, got lost between moving to the new house. In fact, we went from the hotel to our old house for a while, probably for around a year. Then we moved to the new house, and probably within that summer it got lost. And and for some reason this one survived. Just shove it into a drawer and found it in 1999, along with two other comics that I bought 3 years later in 1996, which is Spider-Man number 72, which lost its cover, and Spectacular Spider-Man number 239, which is in similar condition as this one. Now doesn't you don't really notice it, but the cover is detached from the spine, from the bottom spine. There's the back cover is kind of it's got a tear. uh, that's what happens when you are just some kid, who buys something for passing that time and doesn't know anything about, bags or boards or boxes. I didn't get into that until around 2000, 2001. But I I really I didn't really like the story when I first read it. I thought it was kind of silly because it got some aliens, but it was in retrospect, just rereading that, it was a very entertaining story. It's part of the reign of the Superman, after the death of Superman, before his return. And it seems to be a very rare issue, at least here in Mexico, because in 13 years and two conventions, I actually remember just going to one, but just thinking about it, I went to two conventions and I've never found this one. In the shop, I've never found it in 13 years that I've been buying in shops. And then, I mean, I found the following issue, number 82, which has, the collector's edition with the full embossed cover, or Adventures 505, Adventures of Superman 505, which has a hologram background cover. But this one, I've never seen it anywhere here. Luckily, I found it in eBay. And I really love the original, the one I bought. It's my very first Superman comic book, and I've loved Superman since I was a kid. And despite the upgrade, you know, I there's a good memory attached to this one. Anyways, before I go, last video didn't have a really good lighting, so I'll just quickly show you those issues that I bought um, on eBay, and now just get a better look. I'll just do this very quickly. So here we have, Action Comics 445. This one came, very recently. Like I said in the last video, just came before I recorded it, which is Action Comics 446. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get the best angle for it. Then we have Justice League number 96. Justice League number 97, which includes a retelling of the Justice League's origin. A Day with Judy number 30. This is, to date, it's the oldest comic in my collection, but yesterday I actually got issue number 5 from 1948. This is from 1952. This is with Judy number 45, which is the very first, pre-code, golden age, late atom age, whatever age you want to call it, comic. This is from 1955. I believe this is the last pre-code issue. I believe 46 is the first one with the code. The Daring New Adventures of Supergirl number 1, which is my first my comic book shop buy, which actually got it for a very good price because they put it as near mint. And when I bought this one, actually there was a listing that had it for full code for full guide price of $8, but this one was a little bit around probably $2 or $3. These ones, Daring Adventures of Supergirl number 2, which actually is my comic book shop. Well, second tied to Action Comics 446 because I put them together. This one needs to be backed and boarded. I haven't gone to the shop yet to get bags. Superman number 194, which is in good condition. It's got, like I mentioned, the stain right here, and it's got a few issues with the spine. Superman number 204. I really like this Neal Adams cover. I mean, it just begs you to read it. Now, finally, another Neal Adams cover with Superman number 214. So, okay, so I think if you couldn't see from my previous video, then I hope you actually got a better look at the comics I got. In fact, this looks to be very good, like I mentioned, but it's detached on the first fold of the cover from the top staple, and this one also looks very nice, but it's got a little tear here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a little tear here. But I've gotten at a very, very reasonable price. And well, that's it. And next video I'll probably show you my very small Steve Ditko collection. I've got a couple of comics with Steve Ditko art, including the first 2 issues of Shade, the Changing Man. I have no Spider-Mans, no early Spider-Mans of Steve Ditko. Well, that's it for now. Have a great day. Don't forget to leave a comment and say hi.